Republicans blocked the one aimed at expanding health care and disability benefits for millions of our war veterans. Veterans who were exposed to toxic burn pits like this one while serving in Iraq, Afghanistan, and beyond. Just last month, a nearly identical bill passed in the Senate with overwhelming bipartisan support, 84-14. Then it went to the House, where lawmakers made one small technical tweak. Then they also voted to pass it with, again, overwhelming bipartisan support, 342-88. So from there, by rule, it went back to the Senate for a final vote, and last night they had it. Senate Republicans used a procedural vote to block the bill, 55-42. So nearly 30 Republicans changed their votes from just last month. They now say they want to be able to add amendments to the bill. The Republican Senator Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania says his problem with the bill is a budget issue that could lead to unrelated spending.
My concern about this bill has nothing to do with the purpose of the bill. And here's the problem. Completely unrelated to the $280 billion of new spending, there is a mechanism created in this bill. It's a budgetary gimmick that has the intent of making it possible to have a huge explosion in unrelated spending, $400 billion.
We'll hear from Jon Stewart on that. He's been pushing this bill for years. Today, he ripped into Republicans who voted against it.
America's heroes who fought in our wars outside sweating their off with oxygen, battling all kinds of ailments, while these motherfuckers sit in the air conditioning, walled off from any of it.
The bill was called the PACT Act. It was set to make two major changes. It would extend the grace period for military veterans who served near burn pits to get medical care from the Department of Veterans Affairs. And under it, the VA would also presume that veterans developed certain respiratory illnesses and cancers because of their exposure to those very burn pits. The Defense Department reports right now the VA rejects more than 70% of all disability claims that are related to the burns, citing lack of proof that they caused the illness. The U.S. military routinely used open pits like these during the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. I saw them. Troops burned trash with dangerous materials, including plastics, rubbers, chemicals, and human waste. That is illegal in the United States, but not in United States wars. Jon Stewart's here. He's the host of The Problem with Jon Stewart on Apple TV Plus these days, longtime activist for veterans and first responders. Right now he's in the parking lot of the NSA. John, you said today you're used to the hypocrisy of Congress, but not the cruelty. Is this a new low as you see it?
In my experience in all this, and listen, there's, as you remember from the fight during the 9/11 Zadroga Act, which you were very instrumental in, we're used to having to cajole and push, but there's a level of cruelty I've never seen. They passed it on June 16th. I mean, these folks had worked for more than a decade to get the recognition that sleeping next to 10-acre pits filled with everything that an army can discard and covered in jet fuel and burning 24 hours, 7 days a week might not be good for you.
Yeah. They're worried. Pat Toomey says he's worried about them misappropriating or misusing the money. He knows very well they've got a $60 billion slush fund that the military works in there every year that has no accountability at all. And he's also aware that these people are sick and the burn pits are the reason why. So what's the rub?
Well, let me also address the idea that it can be misappropriated. It can't. The bill itself prescribes what the money is to be spent for. And every year, the VA secretary has to present to the House and to the Senate, to the appropriators, right? They both places have appropriations committees. He has to present to them what his appropriations are for that year. And the money can't be spent. It's not a slush fund. It's designed for the health care and benefits for those who had been exposed to the toxic wounds of war. So it's just a lie. Now Toomey says he wants to force it. He doesn't want his amendment to have a vote because they've offered it a vote. They've offered his amendment, which is a poison pill amendment. They've offered it a vote at the same threshold that the VSOs had to overcome for cloture. And what Toomey is saying is, no, 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 no. I want it unanimous consent just in the bill.
Well, while they're doing this, though, John, veterans with cancer are sick and some are dying. What are you hearing from them?
Shep, it's heartbreaking. It's utterly heartbreaking. You know, a lot of these folks are already living in 3-month increments. Basically, they live scan to scan. They get a good scan. Hey, man, that's 3 months that I'm going to feel pretty good about myself, maybe go through my treatments till the next scan. The idea that the Senate is so removed from the day-to-day real lives of their constituents and those that they purport to honor. Remember, this is the veteran community. This is the community that they stand and they wave the flag and they support the troops and they've got the flag pins. But when it comes down to it, they betrayed them. This is a betrayal. This bill passed. It passed the House and it passed the Senate. There was a technical fix. It was one sentence. It had to do with rural doctors being converted into VA sort of urgent care facilities so that veterans who live far from a VA facility could have some access. But for some reason, that was deemed a provisional measure of taxation or of profit. And so if it didn't originate in the House, the Senate couldn't vote on it first. It's all nonsense, Shep. You understand this. It's all parliamentary nonsense at the expense of the real lives of those that fought and are now dying for this country. And then, by the way, and the media, you know, they're not great with this stuff either. If bombs are falling somewhere, they'll be there 24/7. But when it comes to the silent suffering here at home, it's much harder to get coverage. And I just wish we covered it with the same urgency that we cover the conflicts with.
Jon Stewart, a warrior for the Warriors. Thank you. Shep Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.